This gentleman here is the husband to Kammala Hariss. This gentleman has broken a record. He has gone into history. And mambo bado. If things go the way I would wish them to go, he is going to break another history. Where he is, no gentleman has ever reached there. And where I wish him to be, in the next few days, no gentleman has ever reached there. His name is Douglas EMHOFF. He is the husband to Kammala Hariss. Currently, he is the second gentleman of the American country, USA. Second gentleman. Meaning, you see, in American history, since America attained its independence over 200 years ago, they have never had a woman as a vice president. All vice presidents, 48 of them, since America became independent, for all the 48 vice presidents of America have been men. So their spouses have all the time been known as second lady. The spouse for the president has always been first lady. And the spouse for the vice president, 48 of them, have been referred to as second lady. Now, Kammala Hariss has been the vice president for the last 4 or so years. So her husband has been referred to as the second gentleman. If things happen the way I wish them to happen, then Kammala Hariss becomes the president of the United States of America. Douglas EMHOFF becomes the first ever first gentleman. Remember, the wife of the president has always been referred to as first lady. Now, this gentleman, Douglas EMHOFF, if things go the way I would wish and Kammala Hariss becomes the president, then this gentleman would be called the first gentleman. Remember, his current position is he's the second gentleman. So he's the first ever second gentleman. And if things go on well, towards the end of November this year, he will be the first gentleman. Remember, he has been the first second gentleman, and if all goes well, he's going to be the first ever first gentleman. He is a Jew and she is a Christian. He is a Jew and she is a Christian. And in that family, they have the rare opportunity of observing both. So when Christmas time comes, the family observes Christmas. And then when the Jews' celebration of Passover comes, the family observes the Passover. He was born on 13th October 1964. Kammala Hariss was born on 20th October 1964. Meaning, he is exactly 1 week older than her. Kammala Hariss, a lot of people have mocked her. Kammala Hariss has never given birth through what I believe is by choice. But Douglas has two children. He has two children. He was married to another lady between 1992 and 2008. They differed, and most of the information about their divorce has never been disclosed, except one, in that Douglas had an affair with a female teacher to to their children. So that one was one. They say that is one of the reasons why they led to divorce, but they do not disclose other reasons. So that is not just the only reason, but it is one of the reasons. He's an entertainment lawyer. Now, for those people who may ask who is an entertainment lawyer, lawyers do specialize in different fields. Lawyers do specialize in different fields. We have lawyers who, like him, before his current wife became the vice president, he's a lawyer who used to specialize in matters of entertainment. For example, we have musicians when they want to enter into contract. We have actors who act in movies and so on. Uh, his firm specialized in matters to do with entertainment world. The first degree, the degree that he got was Bachelor of Arts. He got a degree in Bachelor of Arts, but later on he got a second degree in. He became a jurist and became got a degree in juris. In Kenya, Kenyans may not understand it, but in America, when a judge is having a case, there is a jury that they take ordinary people to listen to that, and they assist the judge in finding a person. Actually, in America, the judge does not find a person guilty of some offenses or not. It is left to the jury, and that is why you hear people saying the jury is out. So he got a degree studying the activities of juries. That is why he's more of a lawyer. And the people used to mock him behind his back. People used to mock him behind his back because when Kammala Harris became the vice president, he was the spouse of the vice president, and he decided to give up his profession and support her. So people started, because they are used to having the vice president being a man, and the spouse to the vice president is usually referred, as I've said, is usually referred to as second lady. But then they are not used to finding a gentleman supporting his wife to that high office of the vice president. So people started backbiting him behind the back, calling him the wife guy, the wife guy. And he took to Twitter and started calling himself wife guy, meaning that just like in Kenya, when people say that, when people started saying that Ruto is so much into looking for taxes, 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 and then they started calling him Zakayo, and Ruto accepted to be called Zakayo. The same way people used to backbite him by calling him wife guy, wife guy. That is the wife of the second of the vice president, the wife of the vice president, who happens to be a guy. Viewers, that is the gentleman. He's Jew, and his wife is the vice president is a mixture of Indian and Jamaican African. Her mother was an Indian, and her father was a Jamaican African. But as she was growing up, they differed, and she was brought up by her Indian mother. But then again, as she was as she was growing up, she never chose Indian culture or anything. She became a Christian. But today it's not about her. Today is about her husband, who is a Jew. So it is, if they would have had kids, of which they do not have a biological kid, he came up with kids from his earlier marriage, and she has no kid. But if they would have had kids, the kids would have had Indian heritage. They would also have had African heritage and the Jew heritage. We could say that the kids that he brought into the marriage do to some extent have that heritage of Jews blood in them, and adopted African and Indian blood. Ladies and gentlemen, my viewers, that is what I had today for concerning the second gentleman. And if things go on well, he's the first ever second gentleman, and if things happen well, he's going to be the first ever uh, first gentleman. He's the first ever second gentleman, but if things work out well, he's going to be the first ever second gentleman. Ladies and gentlemen, that is all for today.